Hi, it's Kathy from Raven Vintage. I'm about to make a new journal using a book, not an altered book, but I am going to use the cover, remove the whole book block. And I'm using my new lavender kit, and I thought I might as well bring you along for the ride here. I just feel like it wasn't really a tutorial because I've done like one like this before, but then again I thought some of you might like to join me. So I thought what I could offer you in this video was just a few tips and tricks that I use when I am making a journal. So one of them was how I organize myself while I'm making a journal so that I don't get overwhelmed and then the overwhelm takes over the creativity. So I have a few things here to show you that I might use. These, I just sorted out my craft room. If you check my Instagram and my Facebook feed, I just posted some pictures of different angles in my craft room of how I just recently cleaned things out so I know what's inside every single bin. I have some boxes of loose ephemera that I want to sort through, and I've been collecting these over the last couple of years with that intent. They're like wallets, I guess you would call them, and I either get them at the dollar store or while I'm thrifting. And yeah, this one was from the dollar store, and the idea is just that this would be easy to dig in and find what I need, and it can hold some pretty long pieces too. So this also might be good for end cuts, just keeping things all in one spot. And then of course each wallet I could have a different category. So I thought that would be, always trying different ways to store ephemera, and I have a lot of ways to store the teeny tiny stuff, but not the bigger stuff. Here is one you may have already. It's from Creative Memories if you're a scrapbooker. So this was secondhand to me. Same idea, same sort of wallet. It's just a little bit smaller, but everything should stay in there really good because of the elastics. So these were pretty cheap, $2. There's 13 pockets in there, so that's great storage. So just even if you got two of them for under $5, you could, that's quite a bit of good organized sorting. So that is something I plan to work on over time. I'm going to pick away at that, and I'm just going to like take one box at a time, put it on my desk while I'm watching some YouTube videos, and work on sorting my ephemera. Another thing I picked up a little while back were just some dollar store bins. I really like it when I'm watching. So this is 2 for $2. How much are these ones? I think you get, yeah, 3 for $2. I really have enjoyed watching when gals are creating and they just grab a bin and they can just flip through their bins like this. So I thought, and they stack. So I have started using these, and I have also found, oops, there's something in there right now. I've also found that while I'm working on a project, if I put my smaller stuff in here, I can just kind of leaf through it, like my ephemera. When it's all cut up, I can put it in here, and then it doesn't get lost and buried. So those are two really handy things as well. This I picked up thrifting, and I've for $1, and I just wanted to show you that that is the compartment I use for my tool caddy. So that's the exact same one. So it's the same size, it has the divider in it, but that's how I keep my tools organized. If you haven't seen that video, I've got my clips on the back. I have my paper clips stuck in the woven part of the fabric of the unit itself. I've got my bee here, so my page holder, and all of my tools for the most part are right here handy, and I shouldn't lose them. They're right there. So this is what that thing looks like, and just keep your eye open for these if you're interested in something like that. And like I said, I paid $1 for that one. And a couple more things. This I also picked up thrifting. I don't know if the price is still on it or not. It did split here, so I've fixed the corner with some washi tape. Yeah, I did buy it thrifting. I can't recall. I probably didn't give it more than a few dollars for it. But something like this I find really handy during making a journal or whatever you're working on, with the different compartments. Again, with the different ephemera. Maybe you might want to pre-select your your thread or your lace or something, and you can have everything in here. You can also put your, while you're working away, like you could have your glues and whatnot set in here just to help keep you organized. Your ink pad should fit. Let me just double check. Yeah. So if you wanted to keep those and you didn't want your dauber, for example, getting stuff, it's just really handy to have something like that while you're working on your project. And then I have this style. It's just a much larger bin. Of course, it has dog hair in it. But if you want to put your entire project, the journal itself, everything back in this bin, and then you can just set it to the side and have a clear desk again for, because quite often we're working on multiple things, right? And for example, if you are filming like I am, like this, is handy to put your entire project in and then move it to the side. I wanted to share those tips with you while I'm working away here. So I have a book, and the book I selected is just simply, I just wanted to make sure for my printables, which are 8.5 by 11, that it was about the right size. So this is just a little bit bigger than these pages, but for the cover, it's almost exactly the same. So they might stick out a little higher than the cover, and I'm completely okay with that. So this book's just a little bit small, but I am going to use this book. I'm going to remove the jacket, and then I'm going to cut out the book block. Put this over here. Okay, so depending on the style of your book, if it's glued in, see how that pulls away from the spine. I don't want to cut this spine, so I'm just going to cut right down here and remove the entire book block without hopefully cutting into the spine of the book. It's going to get covered up, but I also don't want to wreck it. So I'm grabbing the book block and I'm kind of pulling it away from the, like I'm putting pressure on it this way. I'm pulling away, keeping it lifted, so I can just cut through. You can those the threads of it. You can see the threads right there. There we go. Looks good. Now we'll do the front. Well, there's various ways to use your cover with cloth and different things, and I honestly just kind of figure out my papers first and then figure out what's going to work the best. So as of right now, I haven't decided, honestly. There we go. So there's an entire book block removed. So we'll use that for future projects. And then I might just trim this up, clean it up a little bit with some scissors. Bend this backwards. And just trim that up. It's pretty good. Now this is all attached one piece, so you want to make sure you don't cut into that material, the book cover material. And then you see how this is folded over, and then there's an extra spine piece in there to keep the spine rigid, like a spine support. And then it looks like something was glued, probably the book that I just cut out. You can see it's lifted right here in here, so it's glued down underneath these end covers or end papers. So I would like to decide what I'm going to use for my cover. Now I have a lot of wallpaper, but I'll be selling that wallpaper, so I didn't want to take away from anything that I might use for for selling. So some of these are printed on cardstock, and some of them are just printed on regular copy paper. and some of these are test prints, so they may not be the final result. This one's on cardstock. I think I might do this for the cover. Actually, that's a really nice inside cover though, isn't it? Yeah, that's a really nice inside. Oh, this might be a nice inside cover too. Oh, I kind of like that for the inside. Yeah, I think I like that for the inside. That way I can put a journal topper on this. So what I would do is cut this in half, and we'll glue one piece on the front, the other piece on the back. This will be open, of course, and then we will cover that, and then eventually it'll get covered also with lace of some sort. That's my goal. So for right now, I'm just going to cut this in half. Got myself organized now. My tools are just right down one shelf closer, one cube closer to me than they were before. I'm pretty happy about that. So this is 8.5 by 11. So in half is going to be 5.5. It's upside down, doesn't matter. And then the inside of the inside covers as well. Be 5.5. Now you notice I didn't check to make sure it's going to be wide enough. That's because I'm not concerned, because I know that there's going to be, it's actually too wide. So I'll end up having to cut those down. But it will be covered by some cloth or something here. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to put it together yet, but at least I'm just starting with, I don't always start in the same order, but right now I'm just kind of making a decision that those are going to be my inside covers. This is going to be my outside covers. So these are two things that I am going to hang on to. And let's use this one. And so I'm just going to keep those there. And then I would start with signatures. Now the way I just organized my craft room is so that I can, I know that I'm going to, let's just use this for, I know that I'm going to use printables. I'm just thinking now about my formula for my signatures. So I know I'm going to use printables, and I'm using the lavender kit. And then I would probably like to add in some tea-dyed papers. And I think I would like to add in some music sheets, some ledger paper, and then I would like some book pages of some sort. I would like two types. I would like some illustrations of some sort, florals, botanicals. And then I would also like some just text. So like those two. And then I think I would also like some vellum, maybe a couple pieces of vellum. I'm going to check and see if I have any matching scrapbook paper. This is going to be a question mark. I'm not sure if I'll use any scrapbook paper or not. And I think I want to use some newsprint in this journal. So by newsprint, I'm talking about the one that I can print on, that I buy in the package. It's just, I'll grab some to show you just a sec. So this is newsprint, and I buy it, it's in my Etsy, or in my Amazon storefront, sorry. So this is 8.5 by 11, so it fits in my printer. So sometimes I will take part of my printable kit and print it right onto the newsprint. It's just such a nice buttery feel. It's just such a nice texture. And it also has a real subdued, it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like matte, subdued. It will absorb that ink and make your image look a little more vintage, actually. So I really like printing on newsprint. As far as paper, for my printer, I will just be using regular 20-pound copy printer paper. And so I'm going to print some more of the kit. I I'm going to take a look for scrapbook paper and see if I have anything. I'm thinking right now about the outside cover of each signature, if I want it to be a little more sturdy or stiff so I can turn it into pockets as well. If I can't, then I will probably print some of these on some cardstock, just to have something a little bit more substantial for adding pockets or something too. So that's how I'm going to get started. So that's kind of what now I might not always write this out. And then from here, once I go curate and pull all those papers, then I will kind of come up with a formula. And by that I mean I might go printable tea-dyed music paper, printable tea-dyed ledger paper, printable tea-dyed book page, or something like that. Oh, and that's like the order I'll put the papers in so that it's pretty consistent throughout the, and I probably, oh, that's something else we should decide. It's a small, narrow thing here. It's a very narrow spine, so I'm just going to do probably 3 signatures, and I'm going to keep them fairly small, maybe 6 to 9 pages each. So I'm going to do 3 signatures, 6 to 9 pages each, and then I'm going to do some add-ins. So these are the papers, and then we'll talk about the add-ins. So that would be envelopes. I have some other shorter kind of ledger papers, just papers that aren't the same. When I'm thinking of add-ins, they're just not going to be 8.5 by 11. They're going to be different sizes. So likely some smaller ledger paper. A few different styles of envelopes, we'll see. I'm just glancing. So the way I've organized my craft room right now is all of my ledger papers in one spot, and all of my music sheet papers in one spot. All of my specialty papers are in one spot. You know what? I'm thinking I might just turn the camera around and show you. I was just going to, let me just get this out of the way and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so what I've done is in this spot here, that's all old music paper. This is all printables and test prints and scrap paper left over from projects. So those pretty much all printables and maybe a few book pages. The next compartment there is ledger paper, and then I've got a couple old other vintage style books. So the Sears book, and I've got some lined paper pads in there too. Vintage school writers, what are they called? That might not be vintage, I'm not sure, but those type of things. That's shipping, and some other scrap papers. And then in all of my magazine boxes up here, I have my specialty papers. So I know where to go for vellum and maybe tracing paper if I end up using that. File folders, I know where those are. Everything is pretty much, this whole wall are papers that I can grab to add to my journals. And then what I did, of course, I'm going to just slowly move so I don't make you seasick. So this is where behind me where I sit. So up top, I think I've shown you this before. That's my scrapbook paper up there. This whole thing wheels out. This is on wheels. And this is where I have some of my extra supplies. But behind me, I have also in these totes here, I have bags, cardstock, tissue paper. There's 4 over there on the other side as well. Bags is another category. So those are in categories. But what I did was just recently, I moved all of my ephemera boxes over here, and all of my, let's see if I can get these out, like all my add-ins, things like ephemera. Basically, this is all the things we add in after the paper. So I I did them by wall. My stamps are over here. Stamps and my ephemera boxes and that sort of thing. Everything's right here. Playing cards, notepads, those types of things that I would add to my journals. So, and then of course I have my cigar boxes that have my little ephemera and different things in them too. There's my tools I was talking about. So they're all close by, like my cutting tools. Paper for the printers down there. Yes, I'm really happy with this layout. And of course my stamps are up here. And then in my drawers, of course, which I call zone 2. That's all my other tools that I need. Should be really handy. Writing instruments, that sort of thing right here, and punches. So yes, I think I'm in good shape as far as finding everything I need. So let's get back to putting this journal together. I've grabbed some paper. For add-ins, another thing I thought of would be doilies and packaging paper. And then flips and tip-ins and all that we can do afterwards. So I'll show you what I grabbed. I grabbed a couple of doilies. This little piece of crinkly goodness shipping paper. This is a bunch of my test prints from when I was designing the lavender kit. So I have that file handy. This paper is really, it's like resume or typing paper. It's old. It's discolored, like it's aged nicely, but it's like an ivory color almost. I just thought it was, I may use that. I did grab some tea dyed paper. I found these envelopes and I thought instead of using scrapbook paper, they might be a little big. I'll have to, let's see. Looks like they might be too tall. Yeah, they're most definitely too tall. Unless I did it this way and folded them in half. Yeah, I think I'll save these for another project. So that's out. And then this book here, I picked up thrifting or somewhere, or at a used book sale or something. So it's a tablature book or whatever you call it. So there's a place for notes and then your music notes as well, like written notes and then your music notes. Every other kind of thing. So it must be for teaching or something. But I thought this would be a nice to use for the writing paper in this journal. So I grabbed that, and of course I grabbed an old I want to get a few sheets. Oops, that's upside down. A few music sheets out too. So that one's really crinkly. They're a little beat up, so just starting. Oh, I like this one. It's been taped. That's great. I'll use that one. Looks like that's going to come up like a signature, perhaps. So there's 2 there, and I'll grab one more. Oh, they're coming out as signatures. I only need 1 per signature, so I have those. Old smelly music paper. And then I grabbed both of these. These are both ledger pads I've picked up thrifting. So this one is more the pink and blue with a white background. And then this one I also picked up thrifting. This one is has the green kind of background. So green and then the lines are brown. I think I want to go with this because to use the green throughout the journal and try to keep it down to minimal colors. I really don't want to introduce pink to this journal. I really would just like to keep it the lavender. So I'll take 3 of these, please. That 1 or 2. That was 2 and 3. So we'll break this video up into, we'll make it into another series. We'll just do a few videos at a time, so we're not trying to cram everything into one video. Let me see what I have for. What I'm going to check for right now is what I have for double-sided prints to start. So that one is double. 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. These are cardstock. So those are 6. I have printed back, like double-sided. So that's probably good. I probably use 2 per signature. And then in my test prints, I highly doubt I have any double-sided. Oh, just a minute now. I might. Oh, I do. Take some of those. I do. Okay, we'll take those. Yeah. Very good. All right. So I also had probably have way more than I need now for printables, but let's see. Put this all together, and I'm going to use this bin here to keep myself organized. That ivory colored paper, the tea dyed paper, and I'm going to put these inside the folder. And then the folder is just going to go in the bottom for now. We'll be grabbing from that later. Okay. And then we'll start putting smalls in here, and this can just go, that can just sit inside the basket too. I know it's probably excess, but if you're new, if you're a newbie, you might appreciate some of those, knowing how some of us keep ourselves organized while we're making a journal. And then of course we didn't even talk about ephemera, so that would come after. And I'm not even going to, I just know that there's ephemera with the kit, ephemera with the kit, which I'll cut out later, and actually I have quite a bit cut out already. So, and it's in that folder. Actually, it's in a little tray somewhere. I'll grab that. So I kind of know what I'm going to use. I haven't selected my ribbon yet, and I haven't selected my thread yet. Like what color thread I'm going to sew my signatures with, but that's okay. That can come later. I'm just going to get rid of this book here now. Oh, some neat papers in here. Okay. So in here, let's take out, and it is front and back, so let's find the center. This book appears to be right there. So take that one out. That one, I'll do one for each signature. Now I need to count because I have a feeling, yeah, I need to slow down because this is a really narrow journal. So let's just start with that. Put this back. These I thought would make good journal cards. Do you know what this is? This is, I was going through sorting a bunch of stuff, and one of the things I came across, like a bunch of nostalgic stuff actually. I've been having a hoot. One of the things I came across was my guest register from my first wedding eons ago. And I thought, oh, well, it doesn't really mean anything to me. But then I thought I was going to toss it actually. And then I thought, wait a minute, I do want to keep, because a lot of the signatures are people that are no longer with us. They've passed on, like grandparents, that sort of thing. A lot of my cousins' names were their maiden name. They're now married, so I thought that was kind of neat. So I kept the book with just the first few pages, and if you're like me, you're only your first few pages got filled up at your wedding and the rest is blank. So I just thought, well, you know what, I don't care what it looks like, because I'm never going to display it like at an anniversary or something, because obviously we're not married anymore. But I thought I would pull these out, and I'm going to trim these up and make, those would make really great journaling cards, like the backs, or just on their own, because it's a pretty nice paper. So I'll be using some of those in this journal. Okay, so let's talk about a formula. Let's see here. So I had mentioned maybe doing a printable, a tea-dyed music sheet, printable, tea-dyed ledger paper, printable, tea-dyed book page. I did not grab any book pages. Let's see how, I might not need to. Let's see how thick this is. Cover it out of the way. Let's start with printables. Okay, so they have, oh, that's upside down. They have okay, so like I said, I know I want 3 signatures, so I have 3 sets of 3 right here. So 3, 3, 3. And then let's maybe try 2 pieces of tea dyed for each. I have 3 piles. I don't know if you can see them. 2, 2, so that's 5 each. Definitely want everybody to have one of these, so that's, I'm gonna have to trim that off. There we go. 1 piece of music for each signature. 1 piece of ledger for everybody. I think I'm gonna have to remove 1 printable. And I might have to, well, let's just try one of these. Oh, that one's pretty wrecked. 3. Oh, that's 2. Set that aside. I'll put the add-ins to the side for now. Okay, let's see how we make out. Let's just grab one. So, printable. So here's the formula I was talking about. Printable, tea-dyed, let's go music sheet. And then back to printable, tea-dyed, ledger sheet. And then printable, and this kind of ivory colored paper. Now my concern is that I don't have anything really thick here yet. I want something a little bit thicker. It might end up being this music sheet, although it's older, so it could be fragile. So I'm just thinking, when this signature is folded and we sew, I want something kind of substantial in the middle. So I may go source either a thick book page or a piece of scrapbook paper for the center. We shall see. So that's the first one. And then again, we want some sort of a printable, tea-dyed music paper, printable, tea-dyed ledger paper, printable, and then the ivory paper. So that's signature number 2. And then here, so we want a printable, let's see, which one do I want? Well, I've got 2 of these in the same, I'll have to switch one out. You know what, let's pull this ivory color in. Let me get rid of that one. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a printable, a tea dye music paper, printable tea dye ledger paper, and I think I'm gonna go printable ivory paper. Okay, there we go. All right, now just at a glance, that was folded in two, and that was folded in two. This one's folded into, I'm just trying to gauge the thickness here, just roughly. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. All right, so I am going to pause you, and I'm going to see if I can find some coordinating scrapbook paper. I'll be right back. Okay, I found this paper pad. It's double-sided and it's very neutral. Okay, so for the center of my signatures, I will end up folding those so that they fit the right height, and I'll score them and make them into pockets. So do you want to see that? I guess you probably do. All right, so let's set these aside. This is both. And then I think next video we will do the sewing and start adding some of the structural elements like pockets and such. So okay, so we've got a 12 by 12, so I know I need it to be 11 wide, so we can start by, and this is non-directional, so I'm just going to make this 11 wide. I'm just going to go a little shy of 11 because this is going to be the center of our signature. Instead of doing a full 11 inches, it's going to be the center of a signature, so I want it to tuck in just a little bit. So I'm just going 1/8 of an inch smaller. That might even not be enough, but I'm just, I don't know, is that in frame? So 10 7/8. Just a little, just a little bit. It's just something that you automatically do. Keep your end cuts. As a junk journal maker, you just learn those things, unless you're okay with that staggered look. I'm going to trim off the little white bit here. This I am not going to keep. Okay, and then I'm going to score this so that, let's just get a center now. I've got it pushed up to the side. Okay, so we fold away from the valley, so technically I want to flip that over. And wherever that lands, I'm just going to score that. Okay, fold away from the valley. That's it. There we go. And then I want it to be 8.5 tall. So I'm going to score this. This is the top of the page, say. I'm going to come down to just under 8.5, same thing, by 1/8 of an inch. Just because from experience, I know when you fold it, it could end up being a little too tall. It's easier to do this now than it is to trim off the top. So instead of 8, I'm going to do 8 3/8 as a score line. And then fold away from the valley, so this comes this way. Now, if you care when you're scoring and which way you fold, this is now upside down, so you might want to rescore just this part here so it folds nicely like that. Okay, so let's just grab a piece of paper and make sure it's going to be the right size. So this is my 8.5 by 11. Fold it in half, roughly. Oh, I'm too wide. Why am I too wide? Oh, did I turn it the wrong way? It did. I turned it the wrong way. All right, my height is good. I'm happy with my height. I'm too wide. I need to cut off about, I must have turned it sideways. I bet you I did that. Okay, that's what I did. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. See here, I cut this one just under 11. I should have folded it up this way and folded it in half, which I still can. Let's see what that's going to look like. When I folded it in half, I folded it the wrong way. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is get rid of my creases. I could just cut this right out and do it over again, and you'd never know, but I'm just going to show you my oops and show you how I would fix it. So I'm going to try to get rid of these creases by burnishing them the opposite direction. And again, the opposite direction. There. Would you even know? I should have, this is what I did. I folded my paper like this. I should have folded it this way. That's all. That's all I did. I folded it the wrong way. I guess when it's non-directional, I can see where I messed up. But we fixed it. That's okay. There we go. Okay, now we have the right width. So I did measure right. Let me get my scoreboard back. And now we'll score at 8.5. Goodness sakes, Kathy. So just under 8.5, I'm going to do 8 and 3. I thought that pocket looked really short. I thought that's weird. Pockets are usually bigger than that. Okay. So folding, I just made a valley. So I'm folding away from, not you, I'm folding away from the valley here. There we go. And then this piece here, I might want to redo. So this way, it's gonna fold that way, fold away from the valley. Yep, I wanna do it like this. There we go. There we go. Okay. Match our corners up. And then we'll do some burnishing. It's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good, except for, of course, this line, which will end up probably getting covered up by something anyway. So just ignore that. Just ignore that. You don't see that. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. Okay, so this will be the inside of one of my signatures. Now, I do not glue my pockets shut, so this will end up being a pocket until I have my signatures together, because once they're sewn in, everything kind of shifts on you. So I wait until after. The only thing I might do is put a notch in this, and I like to use my envelope punch board for this. Two ways. And put a notch right there, and then we can also take out some of the bulk right here, so when this is closing, it's not so bulky. So let me show you how I do that. If you have an envelope punch board, you could also use I think you could use a circle punch for this. But anyway, I'm going to open my pocket right back up, and I'm going to fold the sheet in half, and I'm just going to take a chomp right out of, I'm centering from here to here on my envelope punch board, roughly. I can get it in there. There we go. Okay, so just by eye, between here and here, I'm centering it on the envelope punch board. And I just want to take a chomp out of there. So you get this little thing, and then when you open it up and put your pocket back, now you've got this nice, pretty little indent there, and there's less bulk for when you're folding that page in half. Now you can also take a chomp out of the top just to give it that little divot line there. Again, it takes away the bulk and it folds so much nicer. But see how this is sticking out? That's what I mean. Don't glue your pockets yet, because we might end up trimming some of these. But I really do like to do this to my pockets. It removes a lot of the bulk and it doesn't interfere with anything, plus it's pretty. So I do like to do that. Okay, so I am going to put that in here. It's one of my pockets. It's ready to go. And let's do the same thing with the other two. Okay. So again, open this right up. So it goes this way, fold it in half, but with your pocket open, turn it. It's this pocket part that we're going to center on the punch board. And take that little middle section out. And then also, so it looks like this. And then this little bit here I'm going to take out. You can also do the, we can also do this. If I center the corner of the paper to here, we'll get like a little tab punch on the pocket, which is kind of pretty. Like this, like that. Looks kind of file folder-ish. Same thing on the opposite side, same thing. Just kind of get that little kind of neat ways. We could also do it to the corners of the tops, but let's just do these little corner bits here too. I'm not going to glue them shut yet because I am going to wait, because I already see a bit of an overhang, so I might need to trim that up once we're all sewn together. Let's just fold these signatures together, and then we will we'll leave it there for today, and then we will sew our signatures in and add the pockets and other such things later. 2 and here's 3. Okay, now we're not going to sew anything yet because we might want to still add doilies and envelopes and things. So I would just start with this. Okay, so here's the outside of the signature for now, unless I change my mind. And then there's the tea-dyed paper. Okay, now your music paper, if it's like mine, it's too wide, so you can pick one. It's also too tall. So I think I'm going to save the page numbers. Do that. And then I'm just going to make a quick fold down here so I know where to tear that. I'll probably use a ruler rather than cutting. I don't cut a straight line very well, so I've just folded the bottom up a little. Okay, and it's not really long, and I do want to keep some of that nice inked edge there. So let's just crease it like so. I'm just finding the center of the signature there from the crease of the previous paper. And then I've got this little overhang. It's really not a lot. You could trim it off, or we could turn this into some sort of a pocket or a flip even. So for now, I'm just going to leave it. It's nothing major. But this I will get rid of. Now, would I keep that? I might, just simply because it is authentic vintage and the coloring. I could put a quote or something on there, and this would make a nice background. So that's where I'm going to take these little pieces and I'm going to put them in here. I'm just going to hang on to them for now. Okay, next page. Here. Tea-dyed. Okay, and then we're going to run into the same thing with the ledger paper. So you can start one side. The height's good on this one. So I've just lined this up with the edge of all the other papers. And then I'll fold it so it's just inside. Let's line my paper up a little better here. Myself a good crease. And then this one we can just fold back. So it'll either be a flip or a pocket or something at some point, probably a flip. So now it fits inside. So, but this flip does not interfere with the crease that's going to be part of the sewn into the signature. Now I would say that that's kind of busy against that, so I'm going to turn it so it's this way. Turn the paper the opposite side. We can always go back and adjust, switch papers out after. Don't know what size this paper is. Let's see. Oh, that's about the same, 8.5 by 11. Perfect. And then this guy's going to go in the middle. Middle or the outside. Looks like he's going to be just fine. Okay, so remember I went a little bit shorter than 8.5. And it's still tall. So I have to trim that a bit. So it's either where I made my fold on the pocket, I didn't fold it in the right spot, or it doesn't really matter. So this music sheet, what do we think? We can do some sort of, maybe a little pocket or flip out. So let's just do this. I'm not measuring, I'm just doing it by eye. So there is one signature. I'll have to trim that. So that nice pocket scrapbook paper that we just made. There it is. That can either go on the inside or it can be the outside of a signature. And I kind of like the visual appeal of the theme of the journal to be on the outside of the signatures. So I'm going to actually put this on the inside like that. And then after we're done all three signatures, we can kind of do a flip through and see, does this look good? Does this make sense? Side by side kind of thing, and make those decisions after. But so far it's looking nice and vintage and neutral tones is what I'm going for here. So I'm just going to make myself a line and we'll trim this guy. Okay, and then later on you can come in with your envelopes and your doilies and decide, you know, where we need to break up some color. I mean, this would just be super pretty right there. Just quite like that right there. We can come back in with envelopes after, that sort of thing. So that first signature is done. And I haven't decided if that's going to be the first, the middle, or the last signature. Let's go to the next one. Same thing. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. Okay, and there's our third signature. Okay, so the pocket on this one is fine. Now, if this was my inside cover, and I decided to go with this for the inside cover, and the back it would be. Which of these is going to look the nicest next to that? I kind of like this one for the beginning, and potentially, actually I like that one for the end. I like that one there, and then this in the middle. Just kind of judging what is going to look the nicest against that there. I like that look there, and there'll be some sort of pocket or something to break that up. I know it's a lot of lines and a lot of lines, but I think we can break that up. Now let's take a look if this is the right order. Which one did I put that doily in? Because I only had 2 doilies. Who got the doily? The middle guy got the doily. Now I only have 2. So what I like to do, I'm gonna steal that. When I only have 2 of something, I put them in the front and the back signature. So let's just repeat that, but here. Right off the get-go. And then skip the middle signature. And it now has a tear in it, but that's okay. And again, I'm just going to put that in the last signature. So, and I only have 1 of these, so therefore that's going to go on the center with the center signature. Now that on that is not so exciting. This I'm not even sure I like. Something against that to break up that would be really good. Or against this. I like that together. Maybe this. Maybe we'll just do something like that. Okay, good. Now let's check the thickness. I'm just going to put my covers back in there. And that's pretty much perfect all the way around, because we're still going to add some envelopes and such, right? So let me grab a couple envelopes and then we'll call it a day. And I haven't done book pages yet either. So here's 3 envelopes. They're just craft envelopes. Now they can also be on the outside of a signature with a pocket or something for some stability as well, if you wanted to. Could do that. I think though for the very, I think I like to break that up a little, that purple. I like that there. And I have 1 for each. So let's break up these more solid colors. Well, that one's not bad because I have folded the music sheet back a bit. Let's see what that looks like together. Kind of, that's good. We like staggered. Okay, so that's good for today. So next video, we're going to decorate our cover, figure out how to bind our signatures to the cover. I'll come up with a method for that. I'll probably create a spine, sew it to the spine, glue the spine in underneath the covers here. It's likely how I will do that, but I'll decide. There's a couple different ways you can do that. I could sew right into the spine as well. I could strengthen that up and sew right into the spine. That would also work. We'll see what we're going to do. I'm not entirely sure just yet, so, but there you go. I'm going to take a look around for some other things to add, like the add-ins, like I talked about doing something that's smaller to add in. So I will look through my scraps and such and see. Do you remember when I had that scrapbook paper out? There were some pieces like this. Those might be good pockets. So if you want to pull that kind of stuff out as well, we could add those as pocket. Oh, that's really pretty. Yeah. Okay. We'll do pockets, belly bands. We'll do some more structure stuff, maybe some flip-ins and all of that next video. And then maybe in the third video, we'll do some embellishing and the journal closure. I really like an idea that I saw Cindy A. Lewis do with a headband from the dollar store. So I kind of think I want to do that. I'll steal one of her ideas. So, okay, well, thanks for hanging out with me today. It's missing you guys in the chat. Say hello, even if you just leave me a couple emojis or something, just so I know you're there. Miss you guys. It'd be great to chat with you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.